Welcome to this new Flight Simulator update movie. In this movie we're going to look at some of the new things which have been added to the Boeing 787 as part of the Aircraft and Avionics update. Number 2 is the beta stage, right? So this is, I would say, the beta 2. So it's the not the first one, but the second one. And they've added tons of functionality again. So first thing which they added is the checklist, right? So they've expanded the checklist. You can now have, I would say, a power checklist. And then go to the individual items like normally, right? You can press the buttons and then check them. If you select the item, of course. And you can see that all those highlights functionalities are working now, so that's cool. And we can also switch on the external power. And then, of course, it will bring you to the pre-flight phase. This is in addition to the checklist, which was already available, I would say, in a different view, right? So if I reset the view here, and then would go to this nice display over here, there was an option over here where you can say, okay, hey, I want to see the checklist, and that would show you this information, right? So these are the options. You can see that they're still not mimicking the ones which are over here, but at least that's a good start point. Hopefully they expand this list to make it the same here. The next one is a change to the IRS alignment, right? So the IRS alignment, previously when you used to fly, there was simply, would say, it would simply work, right? There was not even no need to activate the IRS alignment, but the IRS alignment, and they can be found here, right? So you can turn those buttons and that will activate the IRS alignment process, which is, I would say, kind of useful because that makes sure that the say GPS is correctly set, right? That the aircraft is correctly set. So if you don't do that, it will show a warning message here, but due to the warning message over here already being displayed, it's not shown here. The other thing which they have added is the time to align. So it will show you in the ND, it will show you, okay, hey, what's the time required to align, right? So you can see it's, I do think it's 1 minute, but that's just my guess. So those are two already nice things. Then they've made some changes to this page, right? It's in the FMC. You can go to the index page, and on the index page you can go to the settings page. Inside the settings page you can define two options, right? One of them is the ND up mode. It can be set to heading or track mode. By default it's set to track mode, and the IRS alignment time, it can be set to instant, accelerated or real time. By default it's set to accelerated. That's what also clarifies why it's, I would say, in alignment in 1 minute. But if you want to make it more realistic, you can simply press that option and then it will set it to real. These are the, let's say, what they call the user-defined settings. The cell-cal option can be set to DMES, right? I don't think that there are other options. As you can see, it shows a warning here, so there are no other options over here. And once you're done here, you don't need to press anything, right? Because the execute option also isn't illuminated, and it will keep those settings for each flight you fly using this night aircraft. Because if you go to the settings menu, you can see it has changed again, right? So that's cool. So what are other things which they have changed? Well, if you go to the IRS or go to the speed brake option, they've made some change to that one. But the speed brake, right, which you can find, where is it? I'm always, here it is. That one can be enabled, right? As you would say, normally put it to auto max, I would say during takeoff, right? Which in some circumstances, if you need to make an emergency brake, it will simply apply maximum brake pressure. There are now some logical changes to that, right? So they made some changes for the rejected takeoff, the arm reverses, and the auto down behavior. So that piece has also been enhanced. What are the other options they changed? They enabled the air data source selector knobs, right? So the air data knobs, which are, let me reach the view again. Come on, let me move up a little bit to this side. and that's where you can change the air data source knobs, if I'm correct. Those are really, I would say, over here. You can now make changes. You can make the changes over here, and I think those are the air source knobs. But to be honest, I'm not 100% sure, because you also have some air buttons over here. So correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm using the right or the incorrect ones, excuse me for that. But that has been changed also. In addition to that, what they did is they made changes to certain displays, right? So if you go to the displays and then specifically the ND display, they made a change where you can change the contrast of the map, right? So if we go to the default map again and then go to the ND, which is over here, then you could switch on the weather or the terrain, but in some cases you couldn't change the contrast. So what they now did is they made a change where you can change the contrast. So you can change the inner and the outer circles to make it, I would say, be visible better. So that's, I would say, a nice welcome, because that sometimes was hard to see, right? So they made some change to that one. So that's good. Other things which they have added, going to the list again, they enabled the air, well, that's the one we already discussed. There are some changes to the to certain displays, and that has specifically to do with the airco unit. So I can show it on this one. So normally when you would go to the airco unit, it's not, I would say, simulated, but they now made changes so it's really simulated correctly. So that's really cool, right? Because you now also have a simulated page here, which shows you the accurate temperatures, etc., on the flight deck, but also in the different compartments, as well as in the cargo area, and also some other options here, right? So likely, if you are gonna make changes, then I need to zoom out a bit to this right side, right, which is over here. Then it will start showing some different stuff. So maybe we can press some options and see what happens. But the graphics, those don't work yet to optimal, right? So you can now see, based on this, it made some change, right? You can now see some different arrows being displayed, which is cool. So those are, I would say, a few of those nice additions which they made to this aircraft. But there are tons of changes, right? They fixed also a lot of things which did not work correctly, including some bugs for the fuel. But they also made a change to the external power, which will now turn off if any generator starts when powering off the AC bus, right? So you saw me enabling the external power directly, right? When we switched on the batteries, which is over. Zoom out again, which is over here, right? So as soon as one of these ones kick in, then it will automatically shut down the external power, which makes it, I would say, your life a little bit easier. So cool things which are being added. I would say I really need to test all the functionality if it works correctly. But this is, again, I would say, a huge improvement for the Boeing 787. Here ends this video. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you got questions or comments, then feel free to post them in the comment box below. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then make sure that you're subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.